Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's makeup is going to be about Sofia Vergara, like sexy, bronzy, smoky eyes with red lip, flawless skin, just very radiant and very minimal. So let's go ahead and get started. So Sofia's base usually looks very natural and dewy, and for this I'm going to use the MAC Stroke Cream in the shade Pink Light. And I'll only use this on the cheek area and underneath the eyes just to give me a little bit of a glow. So when we put the foundation on top, it will just look really nice and fresh and glowy. La Mer Soft Fluid Foundation, and this is a number 12 natural. And using the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe brush, I'll start to buff that into the skin in very small layers because Sofia never has a lot of foundation on, like her skin always looks very natural and very beautiful. And this foundation is more medium coverage, but it just is very beautiful and you can build it up to a more fuller coverage, but it also looks like second skin, and that's one of the best things about it. And the fact that as the day progresses, it just wears on the skin better and better. Now for a bit more coverage in certain areas, I just like to tap the brush. So for me that would be mainly around my cheek area, and this brush just makes it so easy to buff in foundation and give me a really airbrushed finish to my skin. Sisley Cern Phyto Eclat, and this is in the shade number 2. And going in with my Sigma F84 brush, and I'll buff that underneath the eyes. And because of the peachy undertone, it's just going to help correct and remove a lot of this darkness. So then when we use concealer, we can use a lot less. For the tiniest amount of contour, I'll use the new Patrick Ta Major Sculpt in the shade She's Statuesque. And I'll also use his new brush. This is the contour brush, and take just a tiny bit of product. And I'm just applying the tiniest amount and blending it upwards. So up and down motions just to blend it in, and then you can also use the brush from the other side to help you blend it out. But it just needs very little strokes and it blends out straight away. And now whatever is left on my brush, I'll just use it around the nose and just around my forehead without adding any extra product. Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade number 2C. To blend the concealer, I'm just literally tapping it in and using my Zoeva 110 brush. So you don't need to do any dragging motions. Just tapping is going to blend out the concealer very easily and very quickly. And now whatever is left, I'll just put it on top of my eyes, and this will work as an eyeshadow base for the eyeshadow. So this concealer is between light to medium texture, but I like the fact that it dries instantly, and once it dries it just doesn't move, which is great because it doesn't crease and it stays like that really well throughout the day. And now I'm just taking my concealer a bit below and I'm blending it in with the contour so we can have a seamless blend. I'll now move to the powder side of the Major Sculpt, and with my MAC 168 brush, I'll gently tap my cream contour with this powder contour, and it just looks really nice when you apply both the cream and then you apply the powder on top. They just look seamless and they give you a little bit of warmth but without being, you know, very dark, which is what I exactly like. And now with no added product onto my IT Cosmetics brush, I'm literally just going back on top of the contour and I'm pressing it in just so it makes it look even more natural. Milani blusher in Romantic Rose, and using the Bobbi Brown sheer powder brush just in the middle part of my cheeks because she usually has very little blush. And again going back with my foundation brush and tapping the whole thing together. To fill in my brows, I'm just going to use powder eyeshadow because Sofia's brows usually look extremely natural. So I'm going to use the shade Charcoal Brown and using it with my Zoeva 322 brush, mainly in the areas that I need a little bit more volume. So mainly in the beginning part of my brow, in the lower part, and a bit towards the outer part of my brow. And now with a spoolie, I'm just blending the brows together just to make sure that everything looks seamless and blends in nicely. So for the eyes, we're going to create this very soft bronzy eye makeup that is going to be a little bit more in the warmer side. So I'm going to use the shade Frappe from Makeup Geek, and with my big My Kid Co brush number 1.15, and I'm just warming up my lid and a tiny bit in the crease. But towards the crease, I'm only going to keep the color in this outer part of my eyes, because if you see a lot of Sophia's pictures, all of the darkness is mainly in this outer part of her crease. So now I'll mix two colors that will give most of the warmth and will be the main two colors that we will use on the whole eye. And the first one is MAC Swiss Chocolate, and this is one of my favorites. This is a matte brown with a reddish undertone, and the other one is from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is in the shade Comfort. So I'll mix both together on a flat brush. I'll tap these two colors mainly on the lid first, and then I'll move the colors with my eyes open just slightly higher, so a little bit above the crease. And now with my MAC 217 brush to soften this outer part very, very gently. So with little strokes going around the color and start to blend it out. But just keeping this color in the outer part of the crease. And this is of course going to really open up the eyes and give a much wider and open look to the eyes in that area. So if you don't want to extend your eyeshadow too out, you can just start from up and go downwards, and then slowly start to blend around the edges. I've now mixed the two colors again together and repeating the exact same process, but this time just focusing most of the color just on the eyelid without taking it up to the crease, and this is just to give some depth. And as I'm blending, I'm taking it slightly towards the center. For adding some extra depth, I'll use the MAC Costa Riche eye pencil, and this is the most beautiful warm brown eye pencil that you can ever find. And now just doing very small and short strokes. It doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure that the liner is very close to your lash line. So I'm actually pushing the liner onto my lashes. We're also taking it all the way in until out. And just before this dries, I'll use just any brush. This is the MAC 239, and I'll soften this pencil. And when you're doing the inner part of your eyes, you can have your eyes open so you can be able to see exactly where you're blending. And it's also fine to blend it quite going upwards. You know, this will just help to open up the eyes more. And now just applying the eye pencil inside the eyes. And going back to the same two colors that we used in the beginning, Swiss Chocolate and Comfort. And a small brush, this is the Wayne Goss number 07. And I'm starting to smudge all the way from out until in, but just keeping it as close as possible to the lash line. And you can see now these eyeshadows are blending in so seamless with this eye pencil. I'll now move to the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered, and I'll go with the two creamy shades. This is Blessed, and this is Bubbly, and the formula on these are very nice. So it gave me this kind of shade. And then now very gently I'll start to tap that on the beginning part of my eyes, and you see it just has that really beautiful golden champagne shade. They also apply like very easily and effortless on top of the powder eyeshadow, as you can see, just tapping it in. And as I'm blending it, I'm just taking it a little bit higher. Natasha Denona Black is Black eyeshadow. And this is absolutely amazing. It's so pigmented. I'm picking some up with my MAC 212 and using a close-up mirror, I'm just putting this on the lash line, but very small strokes. So you can see I'm just touching it on top of my lashes. So this will give the effect of an eyeliner but without being very heavy. And then going back with the MAC brush that we used earlier and just softening the whole thing together. But you see, the nice thing about using this eyeshadow is that it will give depth but without making it look very strong. So just a few strokes and this would be more than enough. And now using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes Mascara just gives a lot of length and volume, but also at the same time it really helps you to separate the lashes. So you can see I'm starting down from the root and really wiggling my brush. Also making sure to grab all of the little lashes that are in the beginning of my eyes. I'm going to add a few individual lashes. And for this, I'll use this brand called Salon Systems, and these are in the short sizes. So just in the center, I've added a little bit of my Duo Glow and just adding it more towards the center, towards the outer corner of my eyes. A few weeks ago, I did a whole video tutorial on how to apply individual lashes. And I used a completely different brand, but I use it in a completely different way, and I use them before mascara. But with these ones, they're okay to use on top of mascara. They will still blend in and look really nice. If you want to check out my full tutorial on how to apply individual lashes, then I'll link it down below. If you find this difficult, you just have to let the glue dry a little bit, and then as soon as you put the lash, it will be very tacky and it will stick on really well. Also, this white color is just the color of the glue, and once the glue dries, this completely is going to become clear, so don't worry about that. I just have a few spots around here, so for this I'll use my Tarte Shape Tape in light medium, and this concealer has amazing coverage, and also for spots it does an absolutely amazing job. And using just a small brush, this is a synthetic one from Real Techniques, and where I have the spot I'll just touch it like that. And that way it will just cover the spot completely, but also it will not look heavy. Now with my brush, and I'm tapping around the spot. So I first applied the concealer on the spot, and now I'm just blending around it. Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and this is in the shade number 1. And I'm just tapping that around my T-zone area where I get more oily, and on top of the spots that we concealed earlier, and this is going to just set them in place. And lastly, now for the lips, I'm going to do like a classic Sofia Vergara red lipstick. So I'll start by lining my lips using the Charlotte Tilbury Walk of Shame lip cheat, and moving on to the top part, just filling it in and keeping it quite natural. And then just filling in the rest of my lips with the same lip pencil. Now before I add my liquid lipstick, to make it easier, I'm going to use some of my Tarte Shape Tape concealer again. And this time will be to clean up around the lip and make the lip look super sharp. And for this, I love using this brush from Shuamura. See, the shape has that curve and it will work amazing. So I take some on both sides of my brush, so a very small amount, and working closely to start to sharpen the lip, very slow. And then just blending downwards. And for the lipstick, I'll use this amazing liquid lipstick from Sephora, and this is the shade number 1. And I'm using the same brush that I used earlier to carve my concealer, but I just cleansed it on top of a wipe. And I'll start to just place that on the whole of the lip. So this is the finished look of my Sofia Vergara inspired makeup look. I hope that you liked it, and if you recreate it, please make sure to tag me on my Instagram. It's at Natalie Kamal Makeup. I would love to see your finished results. And if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up And if you haven't yet subscribed, I would really appreciate you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.